Hey guys, this is Dr. Sandy with your health tip. And what I'm going to be talking about today is obviously we are always giving information to say how can we maximize your health, your well-being, maximize quality of life, maximize longevity, and really that is the purpose of our office, that is the goal of chiropractic care. Now, a lot of times, if you look at a life principle, by the time you're feeling a symptom, it's already starting to fall apart. And this can apply to your relationships, your finances, and things like that. And then if you study the people who are at the highest level, they are always on the offense. So with their financial well-being, they're on top of it. They study it. They're being proactive. They have reserves. With relationships, the people who have the best relationships are not waiting till they may get a note saying, I don't know if this is working out, where are we going? Every day, even when things are fine, they are on the offense. They are saying, like, what can I do to help my spouse? What can I do to make this relationship better? They're just always proactive. And if there's something wrong, they very quickly take care of it. Financially, if something happens, if there's something wrong, it's much easier to correct problems when they're smaller than obviously when they're larger, and then it's like complete crisis mode. So how does this apply to your health? So the same thing with the human body. In fact, if we look at the major killers in North America, the major killers would be cancer and heart attack. And for most cases, if you look at it, you notice these things showing up in the end stage, even with the technology, symptomatically with people with heart disease, the last symptom would be a heart attack, and a lot of people don't make it out of there. So wouldn't it make sense to say, okay, on a regular basis, I'll eat my best, I'll exercise, and at least I feel empowered. And that's the difference. So it's an empowering model. One model is just saying, okay, I'm fine, I have no symptoms, my body feels great, and that is a horrible way to judge your health. If you look at the healthiest people, they do not wait till they have symptoms. Every day, 7 days a week, they're actually taking care of themselves. And one thing I found interesting as well, a lot of actual surgeons, in fact, who operate on people, and for crisis mode, thank God we have that model, they save people. A lot of them are actually very big on their health. They do go to the gym regularly, they exercise regularly, and my interpretation of that is they must see people at the end stage and they must every day realize, wow, there's got to be a better way. I'm glad we can help these people out of crisis mode. They must see on a regular basis when you don't take care of the human body, what happens. And just like, I remember when I was small, I used to read the license book in Ontario, and it always said, driving is not a right, it's a privilege. And I would apply that to health. Health is not a right, it's a privilege. It's something you have to work for. It's not something you're just given. It's something you have to work at. And then sometimes people will say, well, I have this relative, they drink and they smoke. And honestly, the real answer I have for that is, man, I don't. I mean, maybe they've had a good life like that. But what I would say to that person is that, man, imagine if that person who doesn't get sick and seems to be in good health did start to exercise, did start to take care of their body, and started to take care of the brain and nervous system, they could go to a whole new level. So while exercise is fantastic and nutrition, of course, is paramount, one thing we also have to address 100% is taking care of brain and nervous system, and that is the specialty of the chiropractor. While the organs will get revived, the muscles will improve, the one profession dedicated naturally and gently, specifically scientifically, to taking care of the spinal cord on a regular basis is the chiropractic profession. Our profession is 100% based on taking care of brain and spinal cord. While we use the bones to adjust the spine, to take pressure off, and then sometimes people will think, oh, chiropractors are back doctors, they are bone doctors. I've had people ask me about that. That's not accurate. That's not accurate. What we are actually doctors of is the brain and nervous system. What does the brain control? What does the nervous system control? What does the spinal cord control? Absolutely every single function in the human body. It's responsible for controlling all these systems. It's responsible for repair. So it is the most critical system in the human body. It even controls the heart function. It controls every function in the human body. It controls circulation, your thinking, your breathing, your vision, how you interpret information, your ability to problem solve, breathing, digestion, elimination, hormonal function. A lot of people find this amazing, but people with a healthier nervous system, especially in women, it helps with hormonal issues. It helps as they get older, as they may be going through menopause. It helps with their cycle. But of course, just like anything else, if you look at consistently, and now I've been in practice for 15 years, the people who've gotten the best results, they're consistent. Have we had some patients that in a few visits their pain was gone? For sure, we see that on a regular basis. And there's some different types of patients. Some will come and they'll say, okay, the pain's gone and I'm good, and I'll wait for that next crisis, Dr. Sandy, and you'll be the first one I call. And we honor them because everyone's on their different journey. Is that the best way to do it? No, it's not. The best way to do it is to take care of it on a regular basis. So here's the problem. If you look at any type of mode where you just take care of something in crisis mode, your finances, your relationships, and then your health, what ends up happening is that each time that episode comes, it's usually a little bit worse, harder to recover. And another thing I want to stress in this video too is that if health issues are not addressed, the on and off issues turn into chronic issues, and ultimately they can turn permanent, right? So why even go that way? So number one principle is we should not wait for symptoms. And it's so counterintuitive. As human beings, we want to take care of something obviously when we're alerted, but to go to that next highest level, it's about taking care of the body even when you don't have the symptoms. That's how and it's longevity, man. You start doing this stuff in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, and 50s, you will enjoy the fruits of that in your 60s, 70s, and 80s and beyond, right? But a lot of people are running through life, no symptoms, boom, they hit 50, 55, 60, boom, health crisis happens, all perplexed. How did this happen to me? We go into that victim mode, and it's like, man, what have you been doing for the past decade? What have you been doing? Have you been taking care of the brain and nervous system? It controls every system in the body. It controls the heart, controls the lungs. And yeah, health issues may happen, but if, again, you look at the people who are proactive, they always are getting better results, better quality of life. And then God forbid if a health crisis hits those healthy people who are maintaining fantastic, consistent chiropractic care, consistent exercise, consistent nutrition, doing all these beautiful things, God forbid if a health crisis happens, their success rate is phenomenally higher than someone who hasn't been taking care of themselves. And that just innately, that just makes sense. And I think as a culture, it's amazing. I see more people drinking water. I see more people exercising. People are saying, hey, tell me about this vitamin, Dr. Sandy. I want to eat this way. And more people are eating salads than ever. And while that's well and good, what brings it all together, though, is a healthy brain and nervous system. If there's a blockage to the nerves going to your heart, you can't go full out in your workout. If there's an imbalance going into the legs, it'll affect your performance. Maybe your recovery time will take longer. So why would anyone want to be at 50% of their nerve potential or 70% of that nerve potential? Everyone deserves as close as we can to be our God-given potential. And not just saying that, are you in pain? That seems to be a qualifying statement for a lot of people. It's beyond pain. It's about saying, you know what? How's your sleep? How is your energy? Are you getting sick every month? Are you getting sick every few months? Are you always having chronic diarrhea? And then that's unacceptable. You got to wake up and say, that sucks. That's wrong. I deserve better than this. And then you work on the body, take care of the brain and nervous system consistently over a lifetime, taking care of consistently. And another thing I had to share as well is just the patients who've been staying with us consistently. Some of them have severe health challenges, but some of them who've come at a proactive stage where there was some damage, but we were able to get beyond that. What's amazing, they start looking at me, they're like, Dr. Sandy, this is improving, this is going away, another thing's going away. I just keep getting better. So we even know in the research with consistent chiropractic care, you open up those nerve channels, it goes to the cells, and you just see deeper and deeper levels of repair. You don't actually plateau. So taking care of the nervous system and brain is paramount, and that is the specialty of the chiropractor. You have to have nutrition. Of course, you have to have fitness. If you have these things, be proactive. Don't wait for a symptom. Of course, when you have a symptom, we want to address it, but once it's taken care of, maintain it. It just makes sense. I always think about people who have a heart attack and they go on this amazing clean diet after the heart attack and they start this exercise program, and I always ask the question, why don't we get that program and put it in grade school, right? Someone who's diabetic says, wow, I have to eat this way. When I follow this diet, I get amazing results. Why didn't we follow that diet before? Wouldn't that just make sense? And then go to that highest level of health. And what we're teaching people as principal chiropractors is to say, you know what? Of course, if you're hurting, of course, if there's health issues, let's help the body restore itself, but then let's maintain it. You deserve the best. We don't want those issues to return. And if anything, maximize improvement. Be the best version of yourself that God wanted. So God bless. I'll be here next week.